Welcome to the ukulele warm-up session, and as always we're going to be doing a fair amount of strumming. Just strum a chord, just strum a C chord. We'll get the metronome going, because the first thing you want to do is just get moving and get things sounding. 2, 3, 4. So I'm just strumming on beat 1, 2, 3, 4. Now beats 1 and 3, so that will be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to count as well, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So we really want to hit those chords right on the beat. Now 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now all the beats. 3, 4. Now let's leave out beat 2. 3, 4 to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Now leave out beat 3. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now all the beats. 1, 2, 3. So we're aiming for a very steady sound, not speeding up like I just did. Very clean, clear sound, very regular on the beat. Listen closely to your playing, and every chord should sound the same, so not loud 1 minute and quiet the next. Now let's put the up strums in, so we want an even sound. 1 and 2 and 3. And we'll finish after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I might ask, how many people practice to a metronome? Not many. 1 or 2 hands going up, but and the actual question should be, who practices to a metronome every time? A few hands go down. Okay, the metronome is by far and away the most important musical tool you've got, and it's all music is very much about the time of the note that you play. It's been famously said that plucking the right note or strumming the right chord at the wrong time is worse than hitting a wrong note or a wrong chord at the right time. The rhythm, the timing of music is far more important than the actual notes you play. You'll obviously gradually get those notes right, but it's the actual rhythm that is by far the most important thing. And in fact, if you listen to a piece of music and you start tapping your feet, you're tapping your feet to the rhythm, not to the tune itself. And if you and also if you listen to certain songs, the rhythm is about the style of the music. So for example, it can take a well-known old tune like Autumn Leaves, which has been around forever, or Our Day Will Come. They've been played in all sorts of styles, but it's the same tune, it's the same chord, it's the same melody, it's the same words, but it's the rhythm which makes it either swing or bossa nova or reggae or rock and roll. So you can play those songs in all different styles. It's actually the rhythm that's making it the music it is. Even though it's the same songs and words. So we're going to be looking a little bit more at rhythm and timing over the next few sessions. Today I did say we're just going to play a little bit faster and faster and just get our speed up a little bit. But before we do, something completely different, and I just want to get you to know a scale. Now some of you will already know the scale, A scale, but we're just going to do C major And one of the reasons for this is that in future warm-ups I can say, right, we're just going to play the C major scale, and I would just like you to follow me and play it. So I'm going to show you how to play it. So it's going to take a few minutes, but and then we'll spend the rest of the session doing our strumming and so on. So what a scale is, as you probably know, is a sequence of notes, usually going up, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. For example, that's a major scale. And but you might not know how to play one on a ukulele. So we're going to do C major. That's probably the most straightforward scale. And I'm just going to show you how to play the 7 notes in it, and I've got a little sheet for you to look at as well. But just to start with, first of all, just a bit of important information. Your index finger is your first finger. Okay. Now, some of you learnt to play the piano. That's probably your second finger, but on the ukulele, that's your first finger. If you want to write a 1 on it with a Sharpie, please do. Your second finger is your index finger. So that's the second finger. And fairly obviously your ring finger is going to be the third finger, and your little finger, which we won't be using today, but that's your fourth finger. So forget the thumb when it comes to playing chords, because you don't use your thumb to play chords or notes. Your first finger is your index finger, second finger your ring, index finger, second finger. So so starting with your index finger, that's your first finger. Now if you just like to place your fingers over the first 4 frets. So your first finger is on the first fret, second finger on the second fret. It doesn't matter which string for now. I just want you to just lay them over those frets. We're going to be playing individual notes on those strings using those fingers. Now that first finger is over the first fret. So if you are required to play a note on that first fret, you will place your first finger on the string in order to do so. And likewise with the second finger, that will go on the second fret and so on. So I'll be calling out a note on the second fret, you therefore use your second finger. Conveniently, it's the same number for the finger and the fret. Okay, right. Now the C major scale, those of you that have done a bit of music before will know that it goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And you've got a C string. The second string from the top going down is a C. So if you pluck that open C, when I say open, you mean you don't put a finger on the string. You should hear that sound, something like that. You can pluck it with your thumb or a finger. I'm not too worried about what you pluck it with on your right hand. But on your left hand, you've got the open C string. Yeah, do, that's your note do, if you're going do, re, mi. Now to get the next note of the scale, which is a D, if you place your second finger on the second fret of that string, and when I say place it on the fret, I actually mean place it between the frets. I know we always say place it on the fret, but... So you place your second finger on the second fret, in other words between the first and second frets, and pluck that, and you will hear the next note up the scale. And that's a D. So we've got C and D. Let's just play in C and D. So we'll play C first. After everyone play the C, note C, and now play the note D. Good, so you've got the first 2 notes. We're on to the next note, E. Well, that's an E string, so that must be an E. So the next string across, if you pluck that note, will be the note E. So now we've got C, D, E. So leave your hand sort of in one place, don't keep moving it about. Just move your finger to the appropriate place. At this moment you don't need to move it, but so we've got C, let's play it together. So open C, second fret D, next string open is E. The next note is F. Now that's going to be on the first fret of the next string. Same string as the E, I mean on the E string in other words. So first fret, so that's your first finger, you'll get the note F. And so you've done 4 notes so far, 2 on the C string, 2 on the E string. So let's do those 4. So it's open C, second fret D, next string E, first fret F. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, do, re, mi, fa, or C, D, E, F. Good, so far so good, that's 4 notes. Next is G, that will be the third fret of the E string. So you've done the first fret, that was F, and that's the third fret. So third finger on the third fret, you should get that note, or something sounding roughly like that if you're in tune. That note's G. And you'll notice actually it's from the G chord, isn't it? It's the leading note on that G chord, so that's not a coincidence. So let's play those 5. Starting with the open, open C, 1, 2, 3, 4, open, second fret, next one open, first fret, now that new one, third fret. One more time, 3, 4, open, second fret, next string open, first fret, and third fret. 3 more notes to go, and we're on to the A string now, the one lowest to the ground. First of all, it's open. That note is an A, and that's because it's the A string. It's not called the A string just because it's a name, it's actually the note A. So let's do it all the way up to A. 3 from the low C, 3, 4, open, second, next string open, first fret, third fret, and that new one, open A. So we've done C, D, E, F, G, A, going up the musical alphabet. 2 more to go. I think we can just wrap this up by just doing the next 2. It's the second fret of the A string for B, and then the third fret for C. And you can hear it finish, can't you? You can hear that final we've got there. So the penultimate note was the B, second fret, and the last note is C. And what you'll notice you've done, you've finished with your finger on the third fret of the A string, and it looks like a C chord. That C chord is derived from that C major scale, and those of you that came on the session which I was describing where chords come from, that might connect that bit of information together. So yeah, you finished on the note C. Now let's do the whole scale then, very slowly first of all, then we'll just gradually speed it up a little bit. So here we go. Open C, 1, 2, 3, 4, open, second, next string, first, third, open, next string, second, sorry, and then last one. Now just a little thing about how to play these notes. Don't worry about getting it right today. You've got a couple of weeks to practice that, and I'll send the sheet with that, a reminder of how to do it when I email you. But we'll use that as a bit of a warm-up in the future. Just something about how to play single notes, because I'm sure you've all strummed for years, but playing single notes is not something you do quite so often on a ukulele. And there is a technique for getting a nice sound, because we're always after a nice sound. It's very important. And when you're playing a note where you're fretting it, in other words, you're putting your finger on the fret, the important thing is to put that finger down on that fret at the same time as you pluck it. At the same time. If not a millisecond beforehand, but certainly not after. But if you put the note down, the finger down too soon, what will happen is the preceding note will be stopped by that finger landing on that fret, and then you'll pluck it, and there will be this intermediate little sound. I'll just demonstrate. I'm going to play from the open C to the D. First of all, play it properly. Okay, just sounded like 2 notes. This time I'm going to put that second finger down too soon. too early. Now, did you hear it go down, down? Yeah, it's because my finger caused the previous note to stop and the new one to almost start. So put that finger down as you pluck. There's a knack to it. It's a lot of practice, but that's what you've got to aim for. And likewise, when you come to play a new note and you've got to take a finger off, you take it off just as you're plucking the next note. If you take it off too soon, you get the converse. You get the first note stopping too early and another little sound that you don't want. So in both cases, whether you're going up or down, taking your finger off, putting it on, always do it just at the same time as you're plucking that note, and then you'll get a much smoother sound. Okay, one more time through the scale, then we must move on because we've got some strumming to do. So here we go. One more time, just going through the C major scale, starting with the first note, the low one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the old familiar sound there of the C major scale. Good, right, okay, well, hopefully you'll be able to spend a little bit of time practicing that between now and next time, and then we'll move that on a little bit and include it in our warm-ups as part of the... because you know that all musicians practice their scales when they're warming up, don't you? And you're no different. So you can join all the other millions of musicians who warm up using their scales. Good. Okay, let's just do a little bit of strumming. Now, I did say... we were just going to play a little bit. Oh, there's the... Sorry, sorry, it's not there yet. I need to just share the screen of the... yes, this is what I'm going to email you. That there is a little pattern of the C major scale. That's your ukulele looking over the top of it. So on the sheet there, the highest string is the A string. That's the convention for showing scales. That's what you've just played, starting on that black dot on the left, then gone to the second fret, open, first, third, open, second, third. So hopefully you can visualize what I've just been describing and connect it with that diagram. That's what I'm going to email you to remind you where the notes are. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So we're just going to do some basic strumming. In fact, this is very similar to what we did on the very first session back in March or April, whenever it was. And but this time we're just going to strum slowly to start with, then speed it up a little bit. So let's just get that. Let's get the metronome going. There's a strumming pattern, which is down, down, up. So if you just like to strum a C chord with that pattern, so that's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, should be all okay for that, hopefully. Now we're going to do that little chord progression there, chord progression number 1, C, F, C, G7. See if you can just memorize that before we play it rather than watching the screen, but if not, it's might zoom in a little bit. So C, F, C, G7. We're going to do 2 bars of each chord with that strumming pattern. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. C. C again. Now F. Back to C. G7. And C again. C, that one more time. G7. And finish on the C. Now, even though for a lot of you that will be very straightforward and it's just a slow strumming pattern, it's still, this is after all a warm-up, and it's still an important thing to practice and play and get your strumming rhythms accurate. That's what we're aiming for, a bit of accuracy. Right, I'm going to speed up the metronome and make it a little bit louder as well. That was 75 beats a minute. We're now going to go at 100 beats a minute. So that's quite an increase, but it's still not fast for music. So there we go. So we're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to do that chord sequence, that strumming pattern, and that length of number of times, but just faster. Here we go. After 4, 2, 3, 4. F. C. G7. Let's do that again. Finish on the C. Right, as we get faster, one of the most important things, and it goes back to what I was saying about strumming a right chord at the wrong time is worse than strumming the wrong chord at the right time. That's connected to that. Is however you fumble your chords, if you do, I'm sure some of you are playing lovely chords, but if you do fumble a little bit, at least make sure you are changing on the beat. That's the important thing. You're moving your fingers to the next position, however roughly you get there. Don't delay it. Don't wait. Don't sort of wait till your fingers are in the right place. Move on the beat. Because one of the reasons is your right hand wants to carry on, and that's the thing. That's the trick. Keep that right hand going, and the left hand will catch up, and eventually the chord changes will be good. But if the right hand stops to let the left hand get a nice chord, you've lost it. The music's gone and you're behind and it won't sound so good. So keep the right hand going all the time, the rhythm hand, strumming hand. Keep that going to the beat. That's the most important thing. That's more important than the left hand. And then get the chord changes roughly at first perhaps, and then they'll gradually sound better. But it's important to keep that right hand going all the time. Okay, we're moving up to 125 beats a minute. Still medium pace by music standards. So here we go. Let's go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Finish on the C. So all those other things I said about making sure that every chord sounds the same as the others, you know, there's a consistent sound. Consistency is very important in music. If you listen to a professionally made record, the strumming at the beginning, the middle and the end will all sound exactly the same. They've got the same sound, the same rhythmic tone and everything. So that's what your ears have got to get yourself to do, is to actually make sure you got a consistent sound as well. So, all right, we're moving up to 150. And bearing in mind some music goes up to 300, we're not there yet, but we're not getting there because my metronome doesn't go that high. But we're up to 150 now, so we're going to do the same thing. Here we go. After 4. Are you ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Finish on the C. Yeah, now you can see the importance of using a metronome for this sort of exercise as part of your warm-up. That was 150. You know where we're going next, don't you? 175. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Finish. That's getting up to more up-tempo sort of music, but I should have made a list of songs that go at these sort of speeds, but there are plenty. Here we go, 200. Okay, I hope you're all still with us. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Finish on the C, and well, we've all got our own top speed. Whether it's accurate at that speed's another thing, but that's what we're doing at the moment, is just building up the tempo. And I think my metronome does go up to 225, so we'll do that. Now, if anyone does want to try this at home, please do. I mean, it's a great thing to be able to do. Is when you're getting to high speeds and the metronome is going click, 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 click. I mean, listen to the speed of 225. Yeah, okay, it's very fast. Is to halve the tempo of the metronome, so that you can still strum at the fast speed, but you're only getting a click every other beat. So half of 225 is 112. So if I put it down to 112, I'm not going to do this. Okay, so the missing click is the one in between. It's there. So, okay, now take that off. Yeah, so I can still strum at that fast tempo without necessarily having the metronome banging away. But I'm just thinking, just for the sake of it, I'm going to keep it at 225. So here we go. This is the last one today. So After 4, a very quick 4, let's see if we can do this at 225 beats per minute. 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. Last time. Finish on C. And that's enough of that metronome, goodness me. It's getting hot. Okay, you might be thinking, oh, why are we playing it this fast? I'm never going to play a song at that speed. I mean, there are some songs like that, but it's unlikely you'll end up playing them. But one of the reasons is because when you're practicing at home or warming yourself up like we are at the moment, and everything's relaxed and nobody can hear you and it's all nice and easy and you can do these sort of things. But when you come to play in front of people, suddenly there's so many other distractions and bits of tension, and you suddenly forget some of the things you've been practicing and so on, that the point is you need to be able to play well past your comfort zone. In fact, sorry, your comfort zone needs to be well past the level at which you expect to perform. Now, if you're about to go and play somewhere and you've only just managed to learn the song, you can only just about play that rhythm at the speed they want or the tune and so on, and you sometimes forget it at home. What's going to happen when you're in front of people? It's not going to be so good, is it? But if you can practice to a point where you can play well beyond the level expected in a public performance, then when it comes to playing in public, you'll be relaxed. You'll think, well, this is easy because I can play twice as fast as this if I have to, and you'll feel far more relaxed, far more comfortable, and most importantly, you'll enjoy yourself an awful lot more, and so will the people listening to you and watching you as well. So that's one of the reasons why we practice way beyond the level we need, and so practicing strumming much quicker, for example, is one example of that. Good. Right, well, I think I better call it a day there. We're well past the time. I've just seen a little chat message. Is that somebody saying? Please, can you give advice on use of arm versus wrist, etc. to play fast? Yeah, very good question. And because this isn't the last time we'll do this, so very good question. What you find when you're strumming, the faster you're going, have you ever seen one of those break dancers when they're spinning around? They've got their legs and arms sticking out. But if they want to go faster, what do? They draw in their legs and arms to a smaller ball, and then they start to spin faster. And this is natural physics, and so when you're strumming, you might just casually strum a nice big wide, big strum, about a foot distance from the top to the bottom with your hand. But imagine doing that very quickly. Of course, there's a huge amount of energy just getting from up here down to the strings. So you make your strumming shape, I suppose you might call it, the span across the strings smaller. So the faster you go, the smaller that gets. Perhaps I should have said this beforehand. Anyway, it's great question. So make it smaller. So when you're strumming very quickly, you'll find... In fact, I'm really just strumming from the top string to the bottom of the string. I'm not going outside almost, but I'm... rather than going, big hands going up and down. So make your... so that's one answer to that question, is just make the strumming movement narrower, and naturally is going to be more in the wrist, because it's going to be an awful lot of energy involved in moving the arm. So in reality, your arm does need to move a little bit, and the hand needs to move as well. So there will be bending in the wrist. So without seeing an individual person do it, I can't say that's okay and that's not. But yeah, there'll be a little bit of movement in both arm and wrist. You do need to... you can't strum with just a fixed wrist and all in the arm. And I wouldn't suggest doing just the wrist, unless it's something very quick you've got to do. But I mean, exceptionally quick. But no, I'm just moving my wrist now, and I can see my arm going up and down a little bit. So a bit of both. That's the best I can really advise with arm versus wrist. But I think the most important thing is actually the smaller dimension span across the strings. Good. Okay. Like I say, we'll do a bit more of that another time, and but we need to call it a day now because we're well past the time when some people need to. Well, you all need to get off and do other things, don't you? I'm going to go and have a cup of coffee. Right, I'll send you that information, what's on the screen at the moment, as part of the email, so I'll stop that. Righty-ho, everybody, and lovely to see so many people here today, and hope you're right, I'm certainly going to be warmed up after that one. Yeah, if you want to unmute yourself and just say goodbye to everybody, that would be great.
Everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Good day.
Bye.
Thanks.